What is going on, everybody? It's the France, and we're here for a Monday Night Raw review for May 16th, 2022. Now, we have to talk about what's the big news before this show even got started. The big news tonight. Sasha Banks and Naomi have relinquished the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. They are... I don't know what the fuck happened, but apparently we start the show off tonight and we get advertised with the cage match and a six-pack challenge main event, which would have saw the tag team champions of Sasha and Naomi, Piper Niven and Nikki Trash, Asuka and Becky Lynch in a six-pack challenge. The winner going to Hell in a Cell to take on Bianca Belair. Now, apparently, Sasha and Naomi were brought to the show, and they were pitched this idea and what's going on. And they, namely Sasha, was not happy with any of this. So, apparently, Vince McMahon's genius idea was to have these six women have this match, probably go 10-15 minutes at the most, if that, maybe 5. And have Sasha get pinned by Naomi so Naomi could go to Hell in a Cell and be wasted against Bianca Belair. Sasha did not like this. In turn, Naomi did not like this. WWE put out a statement. It goes as follows. They have relinquished their tag team titles. When Sasha and Naomi arrived at the arena this afternoon, they were informed of their participation in the main event of tonight's Monday Night Raw. During the broadcast, they talked with head of talent relations, John Laurinaitis' office, with their suitcases in hand, placed their tag team belts on his desk, and walked out. They claimed they were respected enough as tag team champions, and even though they had 8 hours to rehearse and construct their match, they claimed they felt they were uncomfortable in the ring with two of their opponents, even though they had matches with those individuals in the past with no consequences. Monday Night Raw is a scripted live TV show whose characters are expected to perform with requirements of their contract. We regret we are unable to deliver as advertised tonight's main event. Here's my thing. This six-pack challenge was not advertised until tonight. Till today. There was nothing anywhere that told me that we were going to get a six-pack challenge. There was nothing last week advertised. You coming out and saying that we're sorry we couldn't deliver the advertised main event. A main event that Vince McMahon probably didn't think of doing until 2 hours before Sasha Banks and Naomi came to the event. Why? What the fuck? Sasha Banks heard this and was like, oh, well, that just shows how little these titles mean to them. Honestly, they need to relinquish the titles, which they said they have, and they need to take those titles to WWE's vault, which they have a vault, and they put them there where they fucking belong because you don't have any fucking tag teams. The fact that Sasha Banks and Naomi walked out makes you wonder what is going to happen with both of them. I mean, we've had Jimmy and Jay and Naomi time and time again be asked about her joining the bloodline. What will be the repercussions for this? The fact that they both walked out, the fact that, and this is another thing, it's like, why would you not put Nikki and Piper, leave them in the match and make it a fatal four-way? They eventually changed it to a tag team, and this is the thing. They walked out 8 hours apparently before the show went on the air. Yet WWE still went ahead at the top of the hour advertising a six-pack challenge, knowing full well that 2 of those participants weren't even in the fucking building anymore. So can someone explain to me why WWE went out of their way to continue to advertise something we know they could not deliver? What happens to the tag team titles? They have nobody else. Shayna Baszler and Natalya? Piper Niven and Nikki Trash, apparently? Which She needs to lose the almost a superhero trash and just go back to being Nikki Cross. And then people can start respecting her maybe a little bit again. But what can they do with those? They have no legitimate tag teams. It was going to be Sasha and Naomi versus Natalya and Shayna or Piper and Nikki for however long they were going to keep the titles. For weeks after week after week after week. Honestly, like I said, put them in the vault and get rid of them. So, I don't know. We'll hear more of this probably coming from the Dirt Sheets and Dave Meltzer and Sean Sapp and all those as the days go on. But this is another instance where Sasha Banks probably wants out of the company. Again, this is the same thing that happened with her back at WrestleMania a couple years ago when... And here's the thing. Sasha, first off, I do not buy anything about they don't feel comfortable about anybody, two of these competitors in this match. Who are those two competitors? They've been in a match with Piper Niven and Nikki Trash last week. They've been in countless matches. Both of them have been in countless matches with Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch. I'm sure... I'm sorry, not Bianca Belair, but Becky Lynch and Asuka. I'm sure Sasha Banks loves working with Asuka. I'm sure Naomi loves working with Asuka or Becky Lynch. Who the hell? I don't buy that at all. That I think they threw on there because they want to make Sasha Banks and Naomi look like the bad guys. That it wasn't bad creative. It wasn't terrible creativity. That. It wasn't terrible creativity of having one tag team champion pin the other. Now, should they have walked out? No. I would have did the match and sabotaged the match. Don't go through the finish. Have somebody else do something else. When you're I would have did something different to fuck over Vince. Have Nikki pin you. Have one of you guys get pinned by Nikki. That's how much little they actually care about your tag team division, your tag team championships. I would have had Nikki pin you and have Nikki be the one to go to the pay-per-view and fuck Vince over. I mean, yeah, it still would have been a champion getting pinned, but I would have went with that and had Nick go up to Nikki, go up to Piper, and have one of them tell them, yeah, when we win this match, you're just gonna roll me up, and that's gonna be it. And you could have went with that. Apparently, Naomi was supposed to win. She was going on to face on Bianca Belair. And the Asuka versus Bianca Belair match, which we will get at the end of the night, was supposed to be for Money in the Bank, a stadium show. Or one of the stadium shows. So Vince McMahon has to go out there, which again makes me wonder, why didn't you make it a fatal four-way? Have Nikki or Piper pin the other for Hell in a Cell and keep Asuka and Becky for Money in the Bank or SummerSlam or Clash at the Castle. Vince McMahon did this to himself. Sasha tried to talk to him, tried to get her perspective into Vince and be like, listen, this isn't right. We shouldn't do this. There's no reason we need to be going out there and losing a match like this. And I'm having one of us pin the other. Just, nah. It was a bad idea. Bad booking all around. Again, it says in the official statement they would have had 8 hours. So explain to me why we go to Monday Night Raw, which means this happened at noon. This happened at noon when they walked out. And apparently Sasha Banks has unfollowed everybody from WWE, Vince McMahon, and everybody on social media. Wow, it's been the past couple of days. She unfollowed Becky, Bayley, Usos, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns. Interesting. She only follows Naomi, John Cena, Tamina, her cousin Snoop Dogg, and that's in 2 fan accounts, and that's it. Oh boy, there's gonna be a lot of fallout for this, and Sasha Banks is probably looking to get out of the company again. Which, honestly, if she's not happy being there, I could see her pulling a pack and just quitting, walking out, and not coming back. And that would be a shame, but Sasha Banks comes off as somebody who takes her pride and her character serious. Triple H got that built into her to take her pride and her character as serious as possible, and don't let anybody tear you down. Don't let Vince McMahon or anybody sacrifice your character. And I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but it is Monday. And by Friday, what's going to happen with Sasha Banks? I think Naomi will be back. I think it was just like I think Naomi's going to be back. She'll be back on Friday probably. She's got her husband's going to talk to her and get her mindset back to get back into WWE and work up again and maybe get to all that. But Sasha Banks, I think Sasha Banks is probably going to be WWE's gonna Vince is gonna have to jump through some hoops to get Sasha Banks to come back. I think, like I said, I think Naomi will be back by Friday. Probably taking a loss taking a couple losses, to getting that punishment, being a loser for a few weeks and months, if so, just to be punished for walking out and embarrassing the company, which is basically what they did. But Sasha Banks, I think right now does not care. I'll keep you updated on Friday, see if anything comes out of this, but I don't know. This is some crazy shit, and it's not the first time Sasha Banks has done this. We had and this is the thing that I just don't get. Sasha Banks decided to lessen herself to go be with her bud and Naomi and become tag team champions at WrestleMania. I get that. But how is she not see this coming with the women's tag team titles? Look at the landscape of the main roster. Who's all there for you to fight? Who is all there for you to go and have matches with? You get the same two tag teams. They don't care about the women's tag team division. There's not enough. You could have Tana Brooke and Tamina team up eventually with all this shit they're doing with the 24/7 titles, the marriages and the divorces and all that shit. They could do all that. I would be one tag team. What about on SmackDown? Maybe Aaliyah and somebody else. I don't know. They just don't have. I've been feeling this since day one. Those titles were worthless. I know Sasha Banks and Bayley. First off, Sasha Banks and Bayley should have never opened their goddamn mouth for the titles. I know they wanted them. I know they spoke them into existence, but they should have They should have read the room, looked at the rosters for both of those for both sides and see. There's not enough women on these rosters to have one. Now, if you took the women's title and merged it and had one single women's championship and one tag team championship, maybe you could get that to work. But having one Raw and one SmackDown women's champion and then a tag team championship for the women, no. They would have been better off giving you a women's Intercontinental and a women's U.S. champion or something like that. A secondary champion on both brands. Because then you could have, on Raw right now, you could have Asuka and Bianca Belair fight for that the Raw title, while Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley fight over the secondary title. Or on SmackDown, you have Ronda and whoever the fuck she's going to face, maybe Shayna Baszler, and then you could have Raquel Rodriguez and Natalya fight over the secondary championship. That would have worked out a lot better than the shit that you have here with these tag team titles that have been dead as ever since the minute Alexa Bliss pulled that cloth off on A Moment of Bliss. The high spot of the tag team championships was the night Sasha Banks and Bayley won those titles. After that, they meant nothing. They lost them to a joke tag team in the Iconics, who was supposed to go on to fight the Bella Twins. That was the only reason they won those tag team titles. And by the time they won those tag team titles, the Bellas were like, "Oh, sorry, we can't come back, doctor's orders." And WWE was like, "Oh, fuck, we can't do anything with this." So, again, I think Naomi will be back. She'll be losing to Xia Li, the Protector. Protecting herself, or Leah, or whoever. Well, it would not surprise me if this is one straw too many and Sasha Banks has her walking papers very, very soon. I mean, I commend her for it. Your pride over anything. Like your pride should be over anything when it comes to something like this. But again, she should have seen it coming. I don't get how she goes in, like, she wins these tag team titles and thinks, this time, they're going to respect the titles. This time, they're going to give us our due as tag team champions. I'm going to go out there, I'm going to make these titles mean something. Honestly, I have to just say, Sasha Banks, you should have seen it coming. You should have known that they don't care about the tag team championships, and you know that. Look at the last few champions. Who was the last time the titles were held that actually meant something? Was the last time US Bayley held them? Yet here you are, taking the titles into John Laurinaitis' office and be like, I'm done. I'm heading home. Let's move on to Monday Night Raw. They do, and again, I don't get this. They promoted the Bobby Lashley versus Omos match, which was going to open the show. And then they gave us a 6-pack challenge to determine the number one contender for the Raw Women's Championship, which I don't get. This is 8 hours after they walked out. Why did you still promote the 6-pack challenge, knowing full fucking well that Sasha Banks and Naomi were not here? You could have made it a fatal 4-way. Piper Niven, Nikki Trash, and Becky and Asuka. You didn't have to do a 6-pack. You could have just said, we're going to have this fatal 4-way and have Nikki beat Piper or Piper beat Nikki and save Asuka and Sasha and Becky Lynch for another time. It would have been that simple. But no. And also, it seems like Cody Rhodes' job on Monday Night Raw is to open the 10 o'clock hour to try and keep the fans. WWE is so desperate to keep fans at that 10 o'clock hour where the drop-off happens every single time since the 3-hour start time. The drop-off happens every single time. It's at like the end of 9 o'clock and going into 10 o'clock. But now we start getting the countdown to Cody graphic, indicating he'll be on Raw at 10 p.m. just like his title match was last week. Steel cage match: Omos versus Bobby Lashley. Cedric Alexander attacks Bobby Lashley during his entrance. Omos and MVP in the ring, but come out to join in it. Referees are on the aisle separating everyone. Lashley steps into the steel cage. Omos and MVP are still on the aisle. Lashley urges Omos to get in the cage, and we go to our first commercial break. Back from break, and both men are in the ring, and the bell rings, and this... Oh my god, this sucked. Omos is dead. I give MVP props for trying. He is trying to make Omos work, and Omos is not going to work. He's dead. He's done. He's dusted. There's no reason to even have this guy out there anymore. And yeah, I just don't get what the hell they are doing with Omos. So they're having this match here, and this match absolutely just... And what did you think WWE was going to do with this match? How were they going to have this match end? Let's have Omos look like a fucking idiot. So Omos gets Bobby Lashley up and puts him in the claw hole, lifts him up in the fireman's carry, and slams him into the side of the cage, and the cage wall falls down. And Omos just sits there and he's like, what do I do? What do I do? MVP, what do I do? While he's doing that, Bobby Lashley gets up, stands up, and walks off and wins the match. All you had to do was, if she slows him down, Omos get out of the ring, step over Bobby Lashley's prone body, and win the match. What the hell was that? That was a stupid fucking finish. That's what that was. So Bobby Lashley wins 2 out of the 3 matches. I guess you can say 3 out of the 4 if you want to count the I had to pause for a second. My lights just got I got a little dizzy. But like, how are you gonna make someone like it just makes Omos look stupider and stupider and stupider. What were they thinking? Like, I know you don't want to pin Omos again. You pinned him at WrestleMania, had Bobby Lashley lose at Backlash. But you really made Omos look like a big bumbling oaf. He threw Bobby Lashley out. Bobby Lashley's down. By the time Bobby Lashley got up, Omos had time to walk, get out of the ring, he could have slid out of the ring, stepped over his prone body and won the match. But he just sat there like, I'm an idiot. I don't know what to do. The cage is open. The cage wall is open. I don't know what to do. I'm a bumbling idiot. I'm just gonna sit here and look like a big dumb idiot. That's what they made him look like. So Omos loses to Bobby Lashley. This is not it, because next week they advertise that Bobby Lashley has a almighty challenge for MVP and Omos. Oh my God! End it now. Commentary sets a recap from last week between Mustafa Ali and Jabba, with Miz as special referee. Austin Theory makes his entrance as we head to commercial break. Back from break, Mustafa Ali is making his entrance. Commentary is making it sound like Ali will having a match against Theory. Theory steps up out of the ring and grabs a microphone. He says he can't just make this do this match unless he knows there's a referee he can trust. A special referee, La Miz. Miz is about to ring the bell, but Theory has the mic and says it doesn't seem fair for Ali to get a match against him while losing. I'm the U.S. champion. Why should you get a match against me when you lost? He's like, I have a match for you so you can prove to me that you deserve a match against me. And he brings out Veer Mahan. They have the match. Ali actually has a good fight against Veer. In the end, Miz pulls shenanigans, and Veer puts him in his finisher, the cervical clutch, and that is that. After the match, Veer puts him in again. Austin Theory and Miz stand around him. They do the whole selfie thing, and that was that. They go to attack again. Here come the Mysterios to send Veer and them running. Anybody was like, oh my God, they got plans for Mustafa Ali. They're gonna have him win the U.S. Championship. They're gonna push this guy. They brought this guy back to make fun of him, to bury him, and to make sure when they finally give him his walking papers, his value goes from as high as it can be to as low as it's going to get. That's all there is to it. All I know is Ali is like, dude, you shouldn't have come back. People would have seen your stock a lot higher. I know it's Mustafa Ali. He'll find work whenever he does finally get fired, because there's no fucking way they're gonna hold this guy out for 2 fucking years, embarrass him for 2 years. They'll embarrass him till probably around SummerSlam time, and then when they do that nice old spring cleaning or summer cleaning, he's gonna be getting his walking papers, and goodbye, Ali. Let's see. Becky Lynch is telling Adam Pearce he saw Sasha Banks and Naomi leave the building. They were supposed to be a part of a 6-pack challenge match tonight. Lynch says she should just be named the number 1 contender and take the rest of the night off. Pearce says they still need a main event tonight. It'll be Asuka versus Lynch to determine the number 1 contenders. If I'm Nikki Trash and Piper Niven, I'm like, what the fuck? We're still here. Why did we get screwed out of the match? Because Naomi and Sasha Banks decided they wanted to leave, as Corey Graves would say, very unprofessionally. Why did they, if I was them, I would have been pissed about that, but that's just me. Matt Riddle makes his entrance as he is taking on, Randy Orton's not here. I don't think he was here for the show tonight. Jimmy Uso. So, of course, Jay's with him. They have the match here. Jimmy, of course, with the distraction early. So, it's an early advantage for Jimmy, and it's like, how many times are we going to see this match happen? How many times are we going to see Jimmy and Jay versus the RK Bro? Who do you think is going to win? We're supposed to have a title unification match on Friday. Who do you think is going to win this match? Who do you think is going to win the unification match? Of course Matt Riddle's going to win this match, because he's got to look strong before people realize that, yeah, the Usos are going to win if they ever unify these titles. Of course, Jay tries to help his brother. You remember how they beat the Mysterios, I believe, for the tag team titles, with one using elevation, the foot to the back of a roll-up to try and keep the pin down. The referee catches it, allowing Riddle to roll him up for the only way you can win in WWE, the most devastating move in professional wrestling, the mighty, mighty, mighty roll-up. So that was your match there. If you've seen one Matt Riddle versus Jimmy or Jay match, you've seen them all. It's nothing different. Kevin Patrick interviewed Liv Morgan. She said some things before the Losorios came in, which I thought, correct me if I'm wrong, aren't Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo, aren't they SmackDown stars? Weren't they just trying to give the kiss cam to Raquel Gonzalez on her first night on SmackDown? That's what I thought. So they tried to invite her to the kiss cam, but AJ and Finn show up and told them to get lost. Balor says the three of them need to work together before Judgment Day picks them apart because, as AJ told, AJ told her, it's like she has a problem with Rhea Ripley. They have a problem with Edge and Damian Priest, so they all need to work together and become a unit to help fight Judgment Day. Now, originally, she's like, I'll think about it. Not in a minute. Go to commercial break. We come back. The Judgment Day is backstage. Damian Priest wants to know if we're getting it yet. He says you clearly aren't because we aren't showing respect to them. Anyone who steps up to them will face nothing but punishment. Rhea Ripley says she's done being what everyone else wants them to be. She said it's time for complete and utter eradication. Edge refers to them as his Saints of Fate. Says people should stop being sheep and join them. He says his arms are wide open to any WWE superstar who wants to join him. He specifically pitches to AJ Styles, and they could use his skills and his veteranness and his tenacity, whatever. He says he could put this behind them and start working together. He says Morgan and Balor can join too if they want, and if not, you could either be by our side or laying below our feet again and again and again. Go to the arena, and out comes Liv Morgan. It looks like Liv Morgan is going to be joining Balor and Styles to take on the Lethal Lovers, Los Losorios. We do get the plug for the main event between Asuka and Becky Lynch. It seems to be a big deal. Lynch mentioning Sasha and Banks and Naomi left. It was unprofessional. We go to commercial break. Honestly, if you think about it, I mean, it is holding your pride and doing anything. But yes, it was very unprofessional just because you did. I know it's the right thing to do. It really was, but like as professionalism, it was very unprofessional. You were told to do something. You said, "Fuck that! I'm not going to do it." I'm on their side. I think they did the right thing. I honestly think they did the right thing because honestly, why didn't you just make it a fatal 4-way? They are a SmackDown talent, by the way. They are the tag team champions. That does not fucking mean that they get a shot or a chance to go on to fight for the Raw Women's Championship. You could have still had a fatal 4-way and gone with that. How hard is that? Yes, it was unprofessional, but it was the right kind of unprofessional. So we had this match with Los Losorios. It was a pretty decent match here. Balor and Styles win. After the match, Liv Morgan raises both men's hands. They look at her and like, hold their arms down and looking at her like, no. He's like, wait a minute, what's wrong? They're like, that ain't how we do this. They too sweet, he too sweets them too, and it's like, oh shit, we have ourselves a little bit of a faction going on here. We're gonna have a little bit of a faction war. The question is, because it was obviously gonna be probably one more person to join the Judgment Day. Who? Obviously the answer is Mustafa Ali, but who, if it's not him, would join the ranks of this I guess the WWE version of the Bullet Club, if you want to say that, because they are two former leaders of the Bullet Club. Don't tell me AJ wasn't a leader of the Bullet Club, because yes, he fucking was, for a little bit of time, but he was. Backstage, Kevin Owens welcomes Alpha Academy, who brings an envelope with the DNA test. He opens it up, and it says the DNA, the samples were contaminated with barbecue sauce. Brad Gable and Otis and Owens look at Otis, and he's like, "You were eating barbecue ribs and catering like your life depended on it." Gable thinks the chain of custody on the test samples was broken. They argue over whose fault it is. Gable says he'll expose his ego as a fraud next week, but first he'll beat the truth out of him tonight. Get a recap of Sonya Deville contract as a WWE official being terminated and Alexa Bliss making a return quickly defeat her. She makes her entrance and we have some new music for Alexa Bliss. You changed her music last week by giving her her OG theme with a little bit of the evil version of the theme. All of a sudden, we had to change her theme again. What is with Vince McMahon's obsession with changing everybody's theme? Now, granted, when Roman Reigns' theme changed, it was warranted because he did not need to have the Shield type music anymore because it didn't fit the character and something that should have been taken away from him the moment the Shield died. Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins both got the new music, but yet Roman kept the Shield music, which was a big reason why people did not like Roman Reigns when the Shield broke up, is because WWE had everything kept with him. Like, he kept everything. He kept the gear, he kept the music and the entrance, because originally when Roman Reigns, when the Shield broke up, he still kept walking out from the crowd, which was stupid. Yeah. Anyway, I'm getting off topic here. So, they have this match here, and it's Deville is aggressive from the start, back in Bliss at the corner. Bliss slaps Deville in the face, ducks a clothesline, hits a dropkick. Bliss double knees Deville. It misses an attempted backflip into another knee. Deville rolls her up for a 2. She's jawing at her for a bit. Deville goes to remove the turnbuckle. She goes to remove the turnbuckle, thinking that she's still, for some reason in her mind, she still thinks that she's an official, so she can do what she wants. So, the referee goes to fix the turnbuckle. She slams Alexa Bliss with the spine buster. Goes to pin her. She's like, ref, ref, ref! Just screaming for the ref. Ref comes over. 1, 2, kick out. Bliss turns her tide, hits a DDT for the 1, 2, 3, and Alexa Bliss picks up the win. After the match, Deville argues with the referee. She's fed up, and she just slaps the taste out of this guy's mouth and leaves the ring, forgetting again that she is not a WWE official anymore. There will be repercussions, and she is going to be fined, more than likely, in story. Here comes good old Cody Rhodes. We're going to have a Cody Rhodes promo. And yep, Cody Rhodes on at 10 o'clock. Again, this is WWE's attempt to get people to stick around till 10 o'clock. Or 11 o'clock. Here's the thing. Unless you're going to have Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins from 10 to 11 in an hour Iron Man match, there is no fucking reason to continue to put Cody Rhodes on television every single fucking week at the same time. People are going to be like, oh, Cody's going to be out there, and then he's going to be gone about 10 minutes later. What are you going to do for that last 50 minutes, huh? Cody's there till 10. From 10 to 10:10, or 10:15, or whatever that is. What are you going to do for that last 45 to 50 minutes? No effort? Nothing at all? You would have been better having him be the main event spot. No, you put him on at 10 because you want the crowd to stay, but that crowd always falls off. Cody, nobody has that star power outside of a Stone Cold Steve Austin or a John Cena or even a Roman Reigns maybe to hold that number. But it's still, even them, even if a Stone Cold or John Cena or Rock or even a Roman Reigns was there for that 10 o'clock spot, as soon as they're off television, people are like, oh, I've seen everything, click the channel, and that is that. Rhodes recounts his Rollins' arrival on WWE main roster as part of the Shield and said he won his way to the top. Rhodes says his story is different. He says he didn't win much until recently. He said he painted his face and felt dead inside, but he endured. He says you learn more from losses. He says the most important thing he learned is that he's never going to be the American dream, so why not embrace the nightmare? Talks about his second chance in WWE and says if Rollins tries to deny him, that he'll have to kill him. Rhodes says he'll even give Rollins the chance. It says, let's do it inside hell in a cell. Rollins appears on the big screen because apparently he wasn't there tonight, aka he was in a room in backstage. Obviously. It says Rhodes stole his spotlight at WrestleMania and cheated to beat him at Backlash. He says anyone who stepped inside hell in a cell with him has been changed forever. Ain't that the fucking truth? Rollins says he'll expose Rhodes as a fraud and accepts his challenge. And then Rhodes with the lame ass line of the night. Overused too. I'll see you in hell. Can we come with a better line? That line has been overused and oversaturated for media, video games, TV shows, movies. Can we please say something else? Asuka says Becky Lynch cries like a big baby, but tonight she'll be given a reason to cry. She also mimics crying. I love Asuka in the ring. I do not like her promos. I do not like when she talks in promos. Unless she wants to sit there, unless she wants to do a pre-tape and speak Japanese, and we get the translation for the Japanese, that'd be fine. But I just don't like when she tries to speak English. It's just her on Connor-chan TV sounds a lot better than she does on Monday Night Raw. I'm just saying. Corey Graves plugs his main event tonight that Sasha Banks and Naomi summarily and unprofessionally left the arena before the originally announced six-pack challenge match could take place. They left 8 hours before the show. Why did you still advertise the six-pack challenge? Oh, that's right, because they want to embarrass the fact they want you to make Sasha Banks and Naomi look like the bad guys, don't you? Alpha Academy Owens make the entrance. Owens is wearing a Sami Zayn Forever t-shirt. We had the commercial break. Back from break is officially announced. Cody Rhodes will take on Seth Rollins inside Hell in a Cell. I think this is Cody's first ever Hell in a Cell match. You know he's bleeding. You know he's fucking bleeding at Hell in a Cell. Ezekiel versus Chad Gable. Did you fucking care? Because I know as hell I didn't. Ezekiel wins with the most devastating move in all of professional wrestling, the fucking mighty and powerful roll up. 24/7 stuff, don't really care. We get a wordy introduction for Lacey Evans, who makes her entrance to the commercial break. After break, she's in the ring, and the microphone says she respects everyone in the enforcers. She wants everyone in the building to stand up and give them a round of applause, which the crowd does. Does WWE know what they're doing with Lacey Evans? Comes back with these emotional, true story promos that nobody gives a shit about. Apparently for a babyface run. Then all of a sudden, she's been moved to Monday Night Raw, and she's supposed to be a heel. Then she comes out tonight and cuts the biggest babyface promo she probably could. What are you doing with Lacey Evans? Because all of this shit sucks. I don't want to see it on my television. Get this woman off my TV, please, and thanks. Says she's grateful for the warm welcome she received. She wants to show everyone that they have the strength to break the cycle. She says she may not be better than anyone else in the locker room, but they're not better than her. That's supposed to... I don't know what she is. You say one thing when she's a babyface, the next week she's a heel. Now apparently she must be a babyface again, because if this was supposed to be a heel, she would have been cutting crap, shitting all over the fans after the Armed Forces thing. But she didn't. I don't know who the fuck she's supposed to be. Is she a heel? Is she a babyface? I don't fucking know. That's bad. Everyone should be able to know if she's a heel or a babyface. We hear one thing she's supposed to be a babyface, another thing she's supposed to be a heel. I mean, the thing you did on the Friday where she was you had Samantha Irvine be like, she wants you to give her the proper respect. She comes out. That felt like it was supposed to be the start of a heel turn. And now she comes out and it feels like she's supposed to be a babyface again. Make up your fucking mind! God damn, Vince. Of course, this is Vince McMahon who changes his mind more than you change your clothes. He'll go to sleep tonight and be like, Lacey Evans a heel. Wake up tomorrow and be like, oh, she's a babyface. 3 hours later, oh, I want Lacey to be a heel. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. He doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. If you ain't got proper plans for Lacey Evans, keep her off my fucking television. Backstage, Riddle strolls to a foggy room with the vows RK Bro will win on Friday. He switched to another backstage promo with the Usos, who also hype up Friday's winner take all unification match promoted for SmackDown. I don't buy for 1 minute we're going to have a proper unification match on SmackDown. Hell in a Cell is not going to have the Tribal Chief on it at all. He is going to be off spending time with his loved ones. You need a main event. There's no WWE Champion by itself. This would be the place to have the unification match. Now, We could have the unification match go through, and we could have a unified champions, and then just have the rematch on the pay-per-view inside Hell in a Cell. Honestly, if you're going to do a unification match, you got to put it inside Hell in a Cell. But then you got to realize, and you can't think, well, there's no possible way if they put it inside Hell in a Cell that they could fuck it up. But you got to remember, 2 years in a row, they fucked up Hell in a Cell. 1 year having Braun Strowman and Roman Reigns wrestle for the title inside Hell in a Cell with Brock Lesnar ripping the door off and destroying everybody and causing a no contest. And then the very next year, having a disqualification inside a Hell in a Cell. Yeah. Becky Lynch versus Asuka. Good match. 2 women out there who can hold... These are 2 ring generals, if you want to call that or something. These 2 can go out there and have a great match in their fucking sleep. It was good. Bianca Belair, of course, was on commentary. Becky Lynch, of course, wanted to antagonize her. It's like, you want to hit me? You want to hit me right here? Come on, hit me. Give me that first punch. I'll let you even punch me. Of course, this distracted her and allowed Asuka to take control for a second, but Asuka get thrown into Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair was not a heel to where she's going to jump up and attack. She did, but the referee tried to stop her. Was stopping her, and Becky grabs the umbrella of Asuka, goes to swing Asuka with the Green Mist Buzzsaw kick, Tajiri style. 1, 2, 3. Asuka picks up the win, and Asuka will head to Hell in a Cell for the Raw Women's Championship. This was supposed to be Naomi, apparently, pinning Sasha Banks. I think this was a better outcome. Obviously, Asuka versus Bianca Belair is a bigger match than they wanted that for, like, SummerSlam or Money in the Bank. Both of those shows are inside stadiums. WWE didn't get what they want because they pissed off the wrong woman for the last fucking time. It wouldn't surprise me if between now and Friday we hear Sasha Banks has either been suspended indefinitely or... I wouldn't say terminated. I don't think they're going to terminate her. Vince McMahon knows that she is far too valuable to be let go anytime soon. What will happen with Sasha Banks? I don't know. Like I said, I figured Naomi was just following her tag team partner because, yeah, they're tag team champions. Why the fuck are they in a number 1 contenders match for the Raw Women's title when those SmackDown stars, again, it should have been a fatal 4-way. Why take Nikki and Piper out of the match? Yeah. Other than that, like Sasha Banks leaving. Sasha Banks and Naomi walking away was bigger than anything else they did on this fucking show, and Asuka is the number 1 contender for the Raw Women's Championship. But nobody's gonna remember tonight because Sasha Banks and Naomi stood up for themselves and walked the fuck out. I don't expect to hear. I don't think we're gonna hear anything for the rest of the night. Like I said, we'll hear something before Friday. It wouldn't surprise me if we hear something by Friday. And again, it wouldn't surprise me if we have Naomi versus it wouldn't surprise me if Naomi versus not Sasha, but Naomi versus Natalya and Shayna Baszler in a 2-on-1 handicap match, and she's being punished as a penitence for her crime of embarrassing WWE and forcing them to send out a statement because her tag team partner did not like the fact that they were going to be doing what they did. More to come, hopefully, in the coming days, but that is all for now. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video, find me on Minds at the France Club, find me on twitch.tv/the France Club, and find me on Instagram at the France Club. And I'll see you guys on Wednesday, where we have a wrestling company that actually cares about their talent and actually takes their championships, every single one of their championships outside the TNT title right now, hopefully that changes, takes every one of their championships at least a little bit seriously. That is all. I'll see you guys later.